Welcome to the Geek Homeworld. I am your host, Ed, aka Savage Tech Man. We talk sci-fi, TV, movies, superheroes, and all from a geek perspective. You can find us on Blogger, Google+, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. We're everywhere. Join the Geek Homeworld. Hello, this is Savage Techman, aka Ed, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast. And this isn't going to be a very long podcast episode. I just wanted to really kind of reconnect with everybody. It's been just a little bit of time, almost a month since I last recorded. If you look at the previous episodes we did, Scott Schreiber, my entertainment correspondent, he and I were, and he did a lot of the heavy lifting, as it were, as you might say, on the episodes there, and especially the blogs that we did, but around the Oscars just over a month ago, so early March there. So that's taking it back a little bit, and, you know, it's early April, a day before my birthday when I'm recording this, so happy birthday to me. And anywho, we did 5 episodes breaking down the Oscars. So we've put out content and but it hasn't, it was all at once there. And then we had 5 accompanying blogs on geekhomeworld.blogspot.com that broke down the different categories, and they corresponded, kind of were a companion to the podcast episodes that we did. So I really enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work on my part in post-production and everything, and recording and production. But, I love this. I live for this, okay? And it was really fun, so you should check that out. We've got a lot of episodes on the podcast, and something I wanted to kind of touch on in this episode, I really don't have a script per se, and I never really have a script. I will put out some bullet points so I can kind of stay on target, because I love to talk. Anybody that knows me, I love to talk, and I will just geek on about, just totally geek out on things, Star Wars, Star Trek, which we just passed the other day, First Contact Day, and that's about, I think, 45 years from the other day, so as a recording of this, so I got to live another 45 years at least so that I can see First Contact. So hopefully the Vulcans will be kind, and that, they won't keep us from space travel or interstellar space travel for a while, and I'm referring to Star Trek Enterprise. Oops, angered some little Star Trek fans there. Nah, but I got love for Star Trek, so in Star Wars and everything geeky. That's what we talk about here on the podcast. It's superheroes, it's action and adventure movies and TV series, and it's all from a geek perspective. So we really appreciate here at the podcast everyone that supported us listening and their tweets, and I've got a couple of authors that are out there. I want to put this out there. You're probably wondering, when am I going to get around to getting you? There's, on the podcast, and it comes down to reading, and I've been extremely busy. I've been working on some projects. I'm a paid or professional sound mixer in the movie industry, and I've done some work in TV. I've done some shorts and different things, and I really enjoy that. And that's one of my careers that I'm really focusing on. That's the main career. But I'm always going to be a podcaster no matter what I do, no matter whatever. And I've been doing this for 10 years. So this year, I think September 4th, if I can nail it down to like one day, 10 years ago. And ironically, this is when The Dark Knight was coming out. So we were big Dark Knight fans when I first started podcasting. That was back with, and we're going back a little bit in time here on my podcasting career now. But Digital Man Cave was the first official podcast that I did, and it lasted, I think, right to the 6-year anniversary, and that was our 150th and final episode of that. And you can still find that on iTunes, Digital Man Cave podcast. It's on there. Just look for Digital Man Cave. And it's digitalmancave.blogspot.com. That is the blog. I've not blogged in years because don't do the podcast that particular one anymore. And that one morphed into Geek Homeworld that you're listening to. Now, thinking about Digital Man Cave podcast, it was a labor of love, and a lot of friends that came and went, and, still friends with, and this and that were on the podcast there. And it was very free form, very open podcast. This is more structured. And this particular episode won't be necessarily as structured. I usually have a bit of an outline, so I know I can stay on target, Star Wars reference there, so that I don't wander off into conversation. So hopefully you'll be able to follow me on this episode, and I won't wander off too much, and this will all make sense in the end. But that was a very long podcast. Sometimes we did an hour, 2-hour episodes, Skyped it in. The technology was a little bit different back then. It's a lot easier now to do multiple guests on the show. So interesting. But we're also, Digital Man Cave still up there. It's on iTunes. It's at digitalmancave.libsyn.com. So you can check out any of the 150 episodes. Now, not all of them are on Libsyn. I believe they're all on iTunes, but because we had started with Moonfruit, and I was looking, they're not even around anymore, but we were on there. It was free podcast hosting, and we had a very big following on that. And then when we switched over to Libsyn, something happened with our following. Our following wasn't, a lot of people didn't follow us as much, but then we built an audience on that. And Geek Homeworld has been leaps and bounds more popular than that, and it's been to the point, and it's more focused here on Geek Homeworld. But in between that, and for a little time, I think maybe overlapping it a little bit, Cheryl, who's my wife now, of course, and we did one called The Quotables, which you can find on YouTube. Not YouTube. We don't have a YouTube for that. We have one for this channel, for Geek Homeworld. It's so many different platforms. But the Quotables podcast was us basically talking about famous quotes, and we put them in context of things that were happening at the time we were recording it. I think we did about 8 episodes. It didn't last that long, but we had a very big following, and we still have a lot of downloads for the Quotables. And maybe one day we'll come back with some newer episodes of the Quotables. But as of right now, we aren't. So if you want to know where the Quotables is located, it's on iTunes, and also quotables.blogspot.com and quotables.libsyn.com. So you can still check out the episodes there. And like I said, they're still getting a lot of downloads. But by far my most successful podcast to date is the one I've been doing just over 3 years. And I think our 4th year anniversary is coming up, I believe September 4th. Definitely it's in September of 2018. That'll be 4 years consecutively that we've been doing this podcast. And so that's awesome, and I've got so many things planned. One of the big things I've been teasing for a while here on the podcast is that video. And if you check out our YouTube channel for Digital Man Cave, I am getting my wires crossed, as it were. If you check out the YouTube channel for Geek Homeworld, you'll see that we have some videos up there. I'm just learning. I'm a little behind the curve here because I never really intended to go video, and I'm moving closer to going. We'll always have the audio podcast, but at least as I can see from right now. But I'm venturing into eventually adding video to the Geek Homeworld podcast, and I've been working with OBS software, a little behind the scenes there, and trying to figure out how that works and learning it myself. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but it's fun, and not used to being in front of the camera. I'm just more of a radio voice kind of guy. As someone once told me, you said you have a great radio voice, and that's nice, because I would love to be in radio. It's something I always love and still do. So with Geek Homeworld, we are expanding our YouTube channel, so you can go over there. Please hit the subscribe button, and when we put something new up there, you'll see it. Obviously, the episodes are showing up on Blogger. They're showing up on geekhomeworld.libsyn.com, which is the main site. on YouTube, we've got some videos up there. You'll see some of the games that I've played. I think I love Command and Conquer, the series of games, which I wish someone would bring back that genre of games. I really love them, especially Command and Conquer Generals and 0 Hour, the expansion pack for that. It's probably one of my favorite all-time games, and I still play it to this day. And I think I have a video of me up there playing it on one of the playlists there for videos on our Geek Homeworld YouTube channel, so you can check that out. And I've been working on my Steam and possibly Twitch, so we may show up on there. But using OBS, I'm trying to figure out what's the best way, and I've been doing my research. And if anybody has any ideas, please hit me up on Twitter. We always are listening to you at Geek Homeworld on Twitter. So, and you can also leave comments here at geekhomeworld.libsyn.com. You can leave kind comments. Please be kind and helpful. And I already listened when I really got into. I put an episode up, and I had some really good feedback from some of the people on YouTube when we put up an episode about Star Trek, and they were telling me something about my sound a little bit and an intro, and so I immediately responded to that and adjusted it, so hopefully things are much better. And it's a learning curve for me. I haven't worked much in video that much, at least on the YouTube side of things, so I am learning, so please understand. and it's going to be a fun journey. I eventually would like to do live chats on there, and even on the Facebook platform. I'm working on making sure I can bring this good quality professional sound from my professional sound equipment that I use, and equipment that I've acquired for years, basically. And I want to bring this good sound to that, or even better sound, with this professional equipment. And being a professional, or what does it take to be a professional sound mixer? Well, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of studying. Do I know everything? Of course not. Am I good at what I do? Yes, I'm good. I've won awards. That's validation, but you don't stop, and you don't let anybody stop you. That's the thing in life. Whatever you want to do, find that passion, follow that passion. You can be whatever you choose to be. Don't let someone come along and tell you you can't do this, or, you shouldn't do this. And, sometimes people get threatened by your possible success. It happens, but, people are people. I've got love in my heart for everyone. So I'm not a grudge holder kind of person, and neither should you be. And hopefully you're passing on what you learn. See, that's the greatest thing. I've had the chance to mentor people. And speaking of mentoring people, I've got a big project that I literally had a meeting with here in the studio the other day, and it's going to be a new podcast that I'm going to be involved with. And we had a great meeting, and we've been doing some follow-up, and we're planning it. I'm trying to work it into my busy schedule because I'm going to pretty much do all the production. So I'll be handling 2 podcasts now currently, plus the YouTube channel, and working professionally as a sound mixer, and doing stuff with my church, which is important to me, So there's about finding that balance in life, and sometimes being able to disconnect and from it all, and find your moment of peace, your moment of solace. And something I've learned, and something my parents ingrained in me, but is to respect everyone. It's part of my religious beliefs, but it's part of who I am, and I'm not a saint at all. No one is. At least no one living is. I mean, I don't know, but depends what you believe, and whatever. But the thing is, I think you just treat people the way you'd like to be treated. You've heard that, and so in my professional life, I've worn many hats, many different careers, and being a professional sound mixer is fun, and I love it, and you should love what you do, and I'm in an industry and with exciting, fun people that are just doing great things and are capturing these wonderful moments. So if you needed a pep talk, if you needed a reason to continue on, if you're an actor, if you're, working in sound, if you're working in cinematography, if you're working in, FX or anything like that, it's just like, don't let anyone tell you can't do something. Unless, of course, you are really bad at it. Now, acting, I've never tried acting, but I don't think I'm good at it. I'm not a great singer. I'm told I have a decent voice, a decent singing voice, but I can't get the key and whatever, that's just it's not in my wheelhouse. Maybe one day, but not right now. You don't want me to break in a song. I'm told I have this wonderful radio voice. This is our radio voice, and the time now is such and such, and the weather is going to be, I can turn it on and turn it off if I need to, but I just enjoy life. And I think I'm a very in the moment kind of person, and I enjoy working with positive, energetic people and being a podcaster. And this is coming up on 10 years. This is our 10th year, my 10th year podcasting. And a lot of my friends have been part of the journey. Some of my movie friends I've brought aboard and also on the podcast here, and you've heard, and had a lot of different people. I love diversity in people. I love different types of people, bringing people in that can add something positive and wonderful in their journey is a great, wonderful thing. So, I'm about inclusion. I'm about helping and passing on what I've learned, and that's a great part of this industry, the movie industry, TV industry, working other projects, working short films and passion projects, low budget or no budget films. I've run the gambit on those, and love to get more feature film work, more experience there, because I believe no one, even if you're at the top of your game, no one is ever gonna achieve that perfection. I don't think you'll ever get perfection. You'll get very good. You may become the best in your field, but are you ever really the best? And I think we're always, especially creative people, and I'm a creative person. I'm a writer, which I don't do as much writing as I used to do, and that's something I'm working on. I got some other pots on the stove, as it were, on the other burners, some of those, like the writing's on the back burner, but I'm keeping it simmering there, and we'll see what happens. But I like the fact of working with people and being a creative person. I've always been a creative person, and I've always got to get out of me what I feel, what I'm passionate about. And I'm passionate about sound. I'm passionate about superhero movies and good movies and solid scripts and, screenplays that translate so well to the big screen, even the little screen, and it's just a fun journey. So I totally encourage you, if you needed a pep talk, here's your pep talk. Here's your don't give up, don't quit thing that's gonna hopefully inspire you to just dig in a little harder, work a little harder. Yes, it takes work. Anything you do that's worth doing takes work, and it's not all fun and games. Anybody that tells you post-production is fun, they're lying. Well, it is fun. I do enjoy it, but to do it right, it takes a lot, and it takes being meticulous, and you have to listen for things, being a sound mixer, and you have to hear those things. Your ears are your livelihood. You got to hear things on a set that no one else is hearing. And you've got to be able to capture things in unique ways, which is very interesting, very interesting. And I've worked on some big projects, and because of NDAs, I can't talk about any of it, really. I certainly can't talk specifically about anything. So, out of respect and, stuff like that. But I can generally say that attention to detail is always something that's very important in your craft, no matter what your craft is. If you're an actor, you're out there, you're a great actor, a great actress, and you're always trying to get to that next level. Keep studying it, keep working at it, keep plugging away, And one day you're going to have that breakthrough, and one day it's going to come, and one role is going to lead to another that's going to lead to another. And I've had projects where I'm like, okay, I'll do this project, this and that. But I've always tried to been, really positive about it. And I think generally I am. But, sometimes you don't feel like it. Sometimes your gut says, maybe I shouldn't. But sometimes you got to take that leap. If you don't take that leap, you're never going to know. You're never going to achieve. You're never going to get to that next level that you want to be at. So if you're going to that next level, then you definitely have to take that hard work, put in that hard work, and take that leap, take that chance, and take that leap of faith, as it were. And I know I've done that in my personal life to pursue being a professional sound mixer. And I've achieved that, but do I have a long way to go? Oh, yes. The sky's the limit, and I can't wait to figure out what the next project is. That's always the fun thing. Once you wrap a project and then you're on to the next one, and it's exciting. And, you can't be beneath doing something that's, or I should say you can't be above not taking other work. Sometimes you'll struggle. The roles won't be coming. You'll be going through a kind of dry season, as it were, in your maybe your acting career or just getting gigs or whatever for, whatever your position is. And then boom, 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 they just like line up and they come out of nowhere. And you're like, oh gosh, should I take this one, this one, this one? That's the greatest thing. It can be overwhelming, but it can be wonderful. It can be a lot of fun. And it is a lot of fun. So I strongly encourage you to just follow your dreams. And what are you waiting for? Time's ticking away. So anywho, enough inspiring soapbox moments there. But I was talking just a little bit. I want to talk a little bit more about some movies I've seen real quick before we wrap this up, because I'm trying to stay on target here with my self-determined limit to these episodes. I try to keep them around 30 minutes, so I may go a little bit over, so forgive me if I do. But I want to thank everybody for listening. I really do mean that. I really appreciate all the listeners, all the feedback. I've got a couple authors out there that I've really for a long time been trying to get on the show, and so who you are, the ones that we've talked, and I'm working on it. It's just hard reading stuff. I'm hard finding the time. A lot of personal life. I have stuff that I deal with my church, which is really strong in my faith, and I've also got movies that I've been working on, and podcast. I'm developing another podcast, and that's something that's kind of been simmering for a while. And so I'm helping someone, mentoring this person, and it's going to be spectacular when it comes out. I'm really excited, feeling good about that. So there's going to be more to come. So I got to leave you with that little tease there for this new podcast, and it's going to be something totally different than this one, but it's going to be extremely inspiring, hopefully not expiring. It will be extremely inspiring. So news on that will be coming soon. You'll see it in our Twitter feed, and you'll see it other places here, and we may do some cross promotion here on this particular podcast, Geek Homeworld. But anyway, I want to talk about just real quick some movies that I've seen lately, because as of the recording this, early April, the last thing we did was about 5 episodes. So a lot of content, very successful, by the way. And thank you all very much, all the listeners. We did 5 separate episodes, and there were shorter episodes, but still, of the Oscars. And then we did an Oscar recap one, which is a little bit longer. And so really 6 episodes if you look at it. But we had 5 blog posts on our blog spot, geekhomeworld.blogspot.com, or blogger page there, and you can still check those out there. They're wonderful, done by Scott Schreiber, who's our entertainment correspondent. He's works in the movie industry also, and he's working on a feature film right now, in fact, and good for him. And he's going to be back sometime soon when he's got some time in his personal time that he can come back on the podcast. He's a good friend. So, and some other friends we've got working on some features. I don't want to call them out. A lot of good friends out there in the industry working hard. So good luck to you guys. Anywho, we did the Oscars 5 episodes on the podcast, 5 separate podcast episodes, and 5 separate blogs that corresponded with that on our blogger page. And then I've been doing some stuff on the YouTube channel, so it's been a lot going on. So I'm working on a lot of things simultaneously, and hopefully going to check off everything and get even more organized on things. And depending on the work that comes in, professionally also. So please be kind to us if you check out. I really need people to go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell there so, it lets you know when we post stuff. I am posting the audio episodes on there. I know some people say you shouldn't do that, and that's fine. But, I'm just having content on there. But I do have some gaming. I've been working with OBS, and I've been learning how to game a little bit, working with Steam and Twitch and all that, and those platforms. And I'm teaching myself, and I've been doing that a lot the last month or so, and actually a little bit farther back. But I'm working that out, and I hope in this 10th year of my total podcasting, in September 4th will be 10 years, but of me podcasting, but it'll also be the 4-year anniversary of this podcast, Geek Homeworld. So we've been going strong for about 4 years. So it's super awesome. It's so excited. So I've got so many things to think about. Just real quick before we wrap it up, because I'm really running out of time here. And I thank you for your patience, and I thank you for listening. And I hope this has been a really uplifting episode for you. And just letting you know, I've really missed podcasting. I haven't done it in almost a month since all of those episodes we did, and there was a plan for me to do them. I just haven't been able to line it up. So a lot going on. I literally got a wall calendar, and it's filled with a lot of things and a lot of responsibilities and different things I got to get done. So this April is a very busy month for me, but I'm thankful. I'm thankful every day for every opportunity, everything that's come my way. So, and for what's coming in the future. So what movies have I seen since we probably last talked on the podcast? And like I said on the podcast, on YouTube, I'm going to be hopefully in this 10th year doing some more videos, and maybe eventually some live chat videos, interactive on YouTube. We'll have to see how that works out. So anyway, but movies, focus. I'm just so excited. I love doing this podcasting, and I love the audience. You guys are wonderful. And I've seen Black Panther a couple times. I know people have seen it a tremendous amount of times, and it's now become the biggest superhero movie box office wise of I think all time. So, and it's like the 5th biggest movie ever. Or it may be close to the top 3 when it's done with its run. So impressive. Black Panther was an awesome movie. It was a cultural moment in time that I don't think could ever be replicated, but I think it's a great point. Yes, it can be replicated, but, taking it to the next level, which Chadwick Boseman and everybody involved with Black Panther, spectacular. And I'm so excited to see Black Panther, everybody that was in that movie, the people being in Avengers Infinity War, which is moved up to April 27th. So that's coming out this month. And I'm not even prepared to even know how to even talk about that. The trailers for it are just mind blowing. We've been waiting 10 years for Thanos and didn't even know we were waiting for him. And so this is going to be a very pivotal movie, Infinity War, and then the 4th Avengers movie down the line, is going to be interesting to see. So will there be a lot of deaths in this movie? If not, I think by the 4th one, we're definitely going to see a changing of the guard. And I just think that's, with contracts, of course, and that's, in the real world, but also in the storyline. I just, Robert Downey Jr. can't play Iron Man forever. Thor, Chris Hemsworth can't do it forever. Chris Evans, wonderful run as Captain America. We don't know. We don't know who we're losing, the changing of the guard. What's going to happen, don't know. I know Black Panther is going to be a big part of whatever the Avengers look like after their battle with Thanos. So don't even know what's going to happen there. And I don't really want to know. I want to be so surprised. And I know I'm probably going to love Infinity War as much, hopefully, as the original Avengers. And I don't want to say anything negative about Black Panther because it's a spectacular movie. Some people are saying it's the best movie ever. I still am a big Dark Knight fan. I think the structure of that story was incredible. What Christopher Nolan did, the sound design on that movie, everything is just the cinematography, the storyline. It was wonderful. Logan is a masterpiece unto itself. It's that good with Hugh Jackman and Patrick Stewart. And, those are as superhero movies go. I have personal favorites that aren't technologically or story-wise at that level. There's going to always be a place in my heart for the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. And, they got worse as they went along or less bearable. But still, hardcore fan there. And I love Man of Steel and DC, talking DC also because I like DC. Got love for DC. I got love for Marvel. And I'm just excited where we're going with the movies that are coming out. Of course, Star Wars. I'm excited for Solo. So there's been some negative press out there or whatever, stuff on the internet about Solo, but the last preview I saw in the theater, it looked pretty doggone good. And am I going to see it even if it's not so good? I'm still going to see it. But it's Star Wars. I'm going to like it. And then, a lot of fans still divided over The Last Jedi. I totally get it. It took me about 3 watchings of that film. I think I saw it about 5, maybe 6 times total. It was a good Star Wars movie, but did I want Luke Skywalker to die? No. But, did I want that fight with him and Kylo Ren to be real? Of course, but, I don't know. So, lot to talk about, lot to think about. So, anywho, I'm just excited. But when I say Black Panther isn't, please don't hate me for that, but I loved Black Panther, but there were some movies like I saw Ready Player One. That movie you need to run out to IMAX. I saw it in IMAX like 2D, but I should have seen it in IMAX 3D. And I'm probably going to go back and see it in IMAX 3D. But anyhow, that was a spectacular movie. The Ready Player One. I love the nostalgia of it all. Grew up in the 80s, so I love the music in it, all the references. I don't even know if I got all of the Easter eggs. And I saw a report about the gentleman who wrote the book. And he said, this is his words, interview I saw last night, and he said, he grew up in a trailer park. So then, he has the trailers, how they are there in the movie, and they're what's that, vertical, yeah. And, he talked about that, and he has the DeLorean and all that's tricked out. It's got a Ghostbusters symbol on it. It's got everything on it, and it's so funny. And this guy's just a true geek, and he got to work with Spielberg. And how crazy is that? How wonderful is that? And Spielberg loved the book, and Spielberg loved this vision. And he said, in the interview, Spielberg was saying that he'd turn to the gentleman and he'd say, okay, are we getting it right? Is this the right reference? And you're like, yes, Mr. Spielberg, sir. But just a wonderful story of the gentleman that wrote the book that became a hit and then is now the big movie. And I think the storyline was solid. The effects were incredible. And on IMAX, and I can imagine IMAX 3D, incredible. Scott, who's our entertainment correspondent here on the podcast, he saw it in 3D IMAX, and he said it was wonderful. And so I'm going to make sure I get myself out to the theater to see it in IMAX 3D, but really enjoyed that. So with Black Panther just ruling the entire box office, there's been so many good movies, but if you want a really good spiritual movie that's going to uplift you, you need to go watch I Can Only Imagine. Now, it's not really a movie that we would talk about much here on the podcast. It's not so much geeky, but it's the story behind that is just very well done. And talking about movies, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that movie because there's not a lot of special effects and it doesn't need it. It's not that kind of movie. Dennis Quaid, I'm telling you, one of the best performances I've seen on film from him ever, and very powerful performance, and I can only imagine. So there's a movie you should check out. There's a lot of movies coming up. So anyway, I've got to wrap this up, but thank you so much. I've missed interacting with my community here on Geek Homeworld. So please interact with us. You can hit us up on Twitter at Geek Homeworld. Check out our YouTube channel. Go over there, hit that subscribe button. Go to our Facebook page, Geek Homeworld. You'll see some fun stuff there. And hit that like button, subscribe to the Facebook page. That would be really cool if you did that. And I want your input, and hopefully it'll be positive. Please be positive. Please be nice. That's the one thing I worry about going on YouTube. You hear stories how people aren't always nice. And, I think people are wonderful, generally. Yeah, I think they are. So, it's fun. This is just fun, and so I'm thoroughly enjoying this. So I hope you've enjoyed our 10 years of podcasting so far. And we're going to be talking more about that as we roll up to the official anniversary of 10 years of me podcasting through about 3 different podcasts. And then hopefully by then it may be 4. So, oops, let that slide there. So there's a little Easter egg there, a little preview of the future. So anyway, thank you for listening so much, and thank you for all the interaction. And I'm starting to ramble, so gotta go. But just want you guys to go out there, enjoy some great movies. Let us know what you think of them. Even if you don't like them, we'd love to hear about it. We may include some of your thoughts on the podcast. So there's a lot going on. A lot of things need to get done, and I got to run. I got a long list of things I've got to get accomplished. So thank you all, and really do appreciate all your input, and have a great time. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Geek Homeworld with your host, Ciucevich Techman. You can find us on Libsyn, Google+. Follow and interact with us on Twitter. Like us on Facebook. Listen to us on iTunes and leave a review. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Read our thoughts on Blogger. See you again on the Geek Homeworld.